Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and so much going on Patreon with Jovial's Sudoku Relay that was the monthly reward puzzle and the Alison No Feet McGee murder mystery Sudoku hunt, all genuinely approachable stuff. I mean, really well worth a try. Do have a go at those on the links on Patreon. Also, of course, our apps always available. They are all listed in the links in the description field as well. So tons to do in Sudoku, and an intriguing puzzle for today's video. This is one called Cygnus by Piotr V. Now, Piotr is not actually, I think, Eastern European, despite the name. I understand, if I remember rightly, that he's a Dutchman, and this nickname was given to him by a teacher who had too many Peters in the class. Anyway, I don't know much about that. What I do know is that he has burst onto the Sudoku scene. He's very active on Discord. He is a stalwart and friend of the channel, and he's created this puzzle called Cygnus. Now, Cygnus is the Latin for swan, and therefore it is also a constellation. And I'm assuming this is a representation of the constellation, or possibly a reference to the metaphor about swans looking very serene on top and working very hard under the surface. I don't know. Anyway, it looks very interesting. It's a mixture between Arrow and Little Killer Sudoku. So the rules are these. Normal Sudoku rules apply, 1 to 9 in each row, column, and box. Are long and arrow, if you add up the digits, they add up to the number in the connected circle. And then there are these little killer clues, which show the sum of the indicated diagonal, and can include repeat digits. So that's it. Fairly simple rule set. I have no idea how this is going to play, I have to say. Intriguing looking puzzle. Do have a go at it on the link under the first link under the video if you want to. And I am going to start now. So let's get cracking. We've got 15 little killer clues, so they have to be made up of the digits 6, 7, 8, and 9. Oh, and a 34. That is big. Right, if this sequence of digits was made up by 2 sets of 9 and 8, that would exactly add to 34. But these outer digits could both be 9s with a 9, 8 there. So there's 1 degree of freedom. It could be 35. And that could be done by this pair being 9, 7 with 9s flanking it, or by this being a 9, 8 pair with a 9, 8 pair in there. So one of those two's a 9. Let's say that. Don't think this 28 is much use even knowing that. Okay, we've got these arrows, and look, there is a disarming symmetry to the arrows. In fact, yeah, that's a very interesting ring in the grid, isn't it? Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is to put 6, 7, 8, or 9 in all of those cells. And that's because each of them has a 3-cell arrow in the same row or column. Therefore, the 3 cells have to be different. They have to add up to at least 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals 6. Now, I am going to colour blue all these high cells that are bigger than 5, definitely. Oh, look, these are also, because they're a single cell arrow, they are mirroring the numbers here. So now we've got all 4 blues coloured in the central box, and the other ones must be low. We haven't got any others though. We can't colour these green because there could be a 9 in a circle and therefore a 6 on one of these arrows. Oh, okay, maybe actually what I should be thinking about is the epistemophile ring. Okay, let's think about that. If you are not interested in hearing the explanation briefly of the epistemophile ring, do jump forward a couple of minutes to where all purple colours have been removed from the grid, and you'll save yourself some time. But don't begrudge other people learning about it who may not have heard about it. So, consider these cells that I've marked purple. They make up sum of rows 3 and 7, columns 3 and 7, which must contain the digits 1 to 9 4 times, including 4 overlaps. So what that means is that these cells in what we call the epistemophile ring, it's not discovered by entirely but named after the constructor epistemophile, they must contain the other digits that make up row 3 and 7, column 3 and 7, the digits 1 to 9, apart from the purples, but including the overlap cells twice. Now, intriguingly, these 4 digits, if you consider boxes 1, 3, 7, and 9, they contain the digits from 1 to 9 4 times as well, apart from the purples, but also including these once each. And what this results in is that these 16 digits in the corners here, let's just mark them red for the moment, have to be the same as these digits here. They have to be exactly the same digits because they are making up these sets of 1 to 9 twice each. And this is kind of the basis, or maybe where we certainly got introduced to the idea of set theory, and looking at the grid in terms of divisions of different sets of the digits 1 to 9. So it's a very important concept in many ways, in solving many different puzzles, and there is a good chance that it's used here. So what we discover is that in these corners we've already got 4 blue cells. In the epistemophile ring we've already got 4 blue cells. We could have another 1 or 2 if there were 6s on the arrows. Just trying to work out if there could be, are these 4 cells the digits 9, 8, 7, 6? Sorry, didn't mean to click there. Or are they, could they include repeats? Well, interestingly, these 3 have to be different because they're all pointing into cells in the center. So they're definitely different. This is the only one, if there is a repeat, it's once repeated and it's here and not here because that's the same cell as that one. They can't appear twice in row 4. So if there is a repeat, it's there and in one of those 2. Now, can there be a repeated 9? Hang on. What is the maximum sum of the epistemophile ring? Well, let's say it's 9 plus 9 plus 8 plus 7 plus the same numbers again because they must appear on the arrows. Then you've got 18, 26, 33, 66. Now, these groups of 2 by 2 must therefore add up to 66 as well. And we know the sums of those bits on the little killers. They add up to 48. So then these cells add up to 18. And this is at an absolute maximum, given that we've repeated 9 twice and got an 8 and a 7 and made these 66. So 18 at a maximum, that is not going to allow the appearance of another 9 apart from in the blue cells. And that is because if you minimize 3 sets, say, at 1, 2, that's 9. And this other pair can't add up to more than 9, so they can't include a 9. And that means there isn't a 9 in those. There isn't a 9 along a 9 diagonal. The same applies here. The same up here. There can't be a 9 in any of those cells. And therefore, if there are two 9s here, oh my God, if there are two 9s here, the places in the epistemophile ring, in the corners that they appear, are in those two sets of 15 clues. And then where is the 9 in row 3? It can't be here or here because there's a 9 in each of those pairs. It must be in one of these 3 cells. It can't be on the arrow. It would have to be here. But we've just discovered that is an impossible place for a repeated 9 because that would be one of the repeats. And it can't sit there. So that is not a repeated 9. So there is not a repeated 9 in the epistemophile ring. My God, that's hard to see. But look, can we extend that further? I mean, I have an instinct, just from the way constructors work. It's likely, I think, that this is going to be one set of 9, 8, 7, 6, and that is not repeated. But all I've done is rule out 9. Now, can I rule out a repeated... hang on now. I'm thinking, having ruled out a repeated 9, we can only get one extra 6 into the arrows. And there must be a 9 in the arrows. There must be one 9 in these 4 cells because this ring has to add up to at least 60. Yeah, okay, so let's just assume these were the absolute minimum. So we've got 48 on the highlighted cells, and these were all 1, 2s. That gets you up to 60. So this ring has to add up to at least 60. So we can't be dispensing with a 9 and repeating a lower digit because we would go lower than 9, 8, 7, 6 added together multiplied by 2. That is right. 8, 8, 7, 6 is not going to give you 60. It's going to give you, let me just do the maths, 29, 58. Yeah, anything that doesn't have a 9 is going to go lower. So there is a 9 in this set, definitely. And we've proved there aren't two 9s. So that is a set of 9, 8, 7, and 6. We know there's nowhere else for a 9 to go. So that is 9, 8, 7, and 6 as a set up there. And they are 4 of a maximum 5 blue cells in the ring. So 9, 8, 7, and 6 must appear in the ring. 9, 8, and 7 must be in circles. We could still have a repeated 7, say in those two positions. Let me just see if I can work out if there's a problem with that. Or a repeated 8. I mean, it seems to amount to the same thing to me. But say this was a repeated 7. Or 6. I mean, I don't see why it couldn't be either at the moment. But let's say it was. Then we would need to fit a second 7 into these cells, which have a maximum value of 18, don't they? What would the 7 go with? So assuming we had a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, that adds up to 9, the 7 would have to go with, at most, a 2. That's the most you can have in this other pair. And it can't do that because we're assuming 1, 2 in all of this. Sorry, the 7 would be on one of those two. It would have to go with at most a 2. And you can't have that because all of these assume 1 and 2s here. So if you allow a 7 in, you needed those to be 1 and 2 to get the 7 in, and it can't be. So now I'm left wondering if we can have a repeated 6. Actually, I don't think it matters. The same argument applies to 8s as 7s. 8 would need to go with a 1 in a 9 diagonal, and we can't do that because it would break this 1-2 thing. So we can't have a repeated 9, we can't have a repeated 8, we can't have a repeated 7, but we must have a total of 30 from these cells to make this ring up to 60. And that does it. Now they have to be 9, 8, 7, and 6. Oh my goodness. Okay, right. Yeah, bingo, 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 bingo. Now I've had another thought. Thoughts tumbling over each other. Look at these. Just as we discovered you can't get a repeated 9 up here because of where you fit it in here. You can't have these not including a blue cell, a high number. And I'll explain why. Because the only way of making 9s in those two positions in green cells that are 1 to 5 is for them both to be 4, 5. Then where are you going to fit 4, 5, both of 4, 5 into this row? Well, if they're in those two, that's used up the 4, 5 for boxes 7 and 9. They'd both have to fit in there, and that's going to blow this total up to 10 at least. So those are not a pair of 4, 5s. Therefore, they do include a blue cell, which will be a repeat of one of these blue cells. And the only one we can possibly do, now that we know that these 4 in the epistemophile ring are 9, 8, 7, 6, is a repeated 6 on a 9 arrow. Only one of them, because only one of these blues on the epistemophile ring is a 9 arrow. And now we know that these 4 cells down here are a set of 3, 4, 5, 6. One of them's a 4, 5. One of them's a 3, 6. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, that is a solid conclusion. I am absolutely certain this is right, but it's absolutely mental. Right, anyway, so this is the most important part of this conclusion. I've forgotten it. Is if that lot adds up to 60, then we suddenly know that these have to be absolute minimum because it's the only way it can be done. That is a set of 1, 2s right there. Bingo. And they are using up all the 1, 2s in rows 1 and 2, 8 and 9, columns 1 and 2, 8 and 9. And suddenly all of these cells are the only places left in rows 3 and 7, columns 3 and 7, where 1 and 2 can go. That is insane. Now, these are making up the totals 3 plus what numbers give 6, 7, 8, 9, plus 1 each of 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that too is a set of 3, 4, 5, and 6. In fact, analogous to this set because of the epistemophile ring. Yes, it all makes sense. Oh my goodness. Okay, and we are not done at all, I'm sure. But my goodness, that is a bunch of deductions. What a puzzle. Right. Now I can see a 1, 2 pair that is stopping 1 or 2 being on this arrow. The minimum digits on it, therefore, are 3 and 4. It must add up to at least 7, and we get another blue cell in the grid. We've got 4 blue cells in row 6, so those are green and are from 3, 4, or 5. Oh, as are these, I suppose. They can't... Oh, they could be 6 and 3. Okay, they are from 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, take it easy. I don't think this 28 diagonal is still any use. The minimum those can be is 7, but the maximum they can be is 15. Ugh. kind of knew that from the numbers that were available anyway, so that doesn't get anything done. Is a 9 there? Oh, what about these? One of these is a 9, isn't it? Yeah, one of those is a 9, so both of those can't be 9s. So this is not where 9 goes, and that's not a 6. Ah, and this can't have a 1 and a 2 on it because of that cell. Therefore, it can't be 6 or 7 here. So that is 8 or 9. What else though? Could that be 9? What happens on this 34 diagonal then? Then that's 8, 9, 8, 9. And that is impossible because that, okay, those two, sorry, the simple way of seeing it, those two are seeing both of those. At least one of them must be a 9, so that's not a 9 either. Ah, now there's no 6 down here. So one of these two is a 6. Remember, this is a 3, 4, 5, 6 set. One of those two is a 6, and this isn't a 6. So that's not 3. Now 9 is in one of those two cells, because it's not there or there. Which of these is 9? I don't know. One of those has to be 9. Come on. Can that be 9? 8, 8, 9, 9. I think it can just. Probably isn't, but it looks like it can. Now, hang on. Right, this cannot be a 4, 5 pair because this is a 3, 4, 5, 6 set. If this was a 4, 5 pair, neither of these could be a 4, 5 pair, and that's impossible. So one of those is definitely a 3, and that's not a 3, so that's not a 6. So 6 is definitely in one of these places, definitely in one of those. Oh, I knew that anyway. Oh. What about these 16 diagonals? Okay, one of these has to be a 1, in which case the 16 diagonal is 2 blue cells. Oh, right. Right. Now, one of these is a 1 and one of them is a 2, clearly. Wherever there's a 1, it is surrounded by 2 blue cells. Wherever there's a 2, it could in theory be surrounded by a 6 and 8 being 2 blue cells. But look what happens then. If we make those 2 blue and those 2 blue, then where do the 4 blue cells in box 2 go? We've got 1 there, but the other 3, now that we've got 4 blue cells in row 1, would all go here, and that's too many blue cells in row 2. My God. Okay, so 8, 6 is not how the 16, or how the 16 that uses the 2 is made up. Therefore, this is a set of 9, 5 in one case. And do we know it's 8, 7 or 9, 6 in the other? No, okay, I don't know that. But I do know that one of these cells is a 5. So they're not all blue. These can't all be blue, so there's one blue here. So the 5 is somewhere at the top of the diagram, so they don't have to both be blue. That's right. Could there be a repeated 8-6? No, 8-7. Because where we don't have a 9-5, we have an 8-7 pair. Oh, I just don't know. These are from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They definitely include a 5. If the 5 is over this side, that's not a 5. Oh, I'd love to prove that neither of these is a 5, but I'm not sure I can do that. Because if that was a 5, that could be a 5. Then you'd have 9 there. I just don't quite know. Obviously, 3 of these are blue. Oh, now one of these is a 6, isn't it? So these don't include 6. So does that make it more likely that they're 7, 8, or that they're a 9 and a 6 with a 9 and a 5? I don't think it can be like that, 9 and 6 with a 9 and 5. And the reason I say that is because one of these blue cells has to be a 9. And if you put a 9 there and a 9 there, none of those blue cells can be a 9. So that's not right. That is not right. So one of these is an 8-7 pair and the other is a 9-5 pair, and none of them are 6s. How about that? So there's no 6 there. One of them's 9-5 and one of them's 8-7. Yeah. So, but we don't know whether 9s are on top or below, or whether 5s are. Oh, this is an absolute head wrecker. Half an hour in, I haven't got a digit placed in the grid. I've got all these thoughts that I'm trying to desperately cling on to. 3 is in one of those two, and in one of these, one of these pairs. So none of these are a 3. Is that of any interest? It doesn't feel like it, I have to say. What about this? Doesn't quite have to have a 1 on it, so that doesn't prove this one. Okay, come on, keep focusing on this stuff here. If this is a set of 5, 7, 8, 9, okay, that's interesting. And this is a set of 6, 7, 8, 9. So that has used up 2 lots of 7, 8, and 9. Oh, look. No. It's used up 2 lots of 7, 8, and 9. There's 1 there. I don't think anywhere out here. Yeah, we are using 2 lots of 5, 7, 8, and 9 in those cells. So we can't get another one into boxes 1 or 3. So these are not from 5, 7, 8, or 9. So are these actually. They're also not from 1 or 2, these, well, any of them. So in fact, those are from 3, 4, and 6. Now we've got a 3, 4, 5, 6 set in row 4, a quad. So these can't be a 5. So the 5 is in one of these 2 cells. Yes. What of it? Oh, come on. 5 is in one of those with 9 in one of those, and in the box where that happens, we've got 7, 8 out here. Ooh. 7, 8, 9. 5 there with 9 there looks much more possible. Okay, let's work on 5 being there with 9 being there, which would put 8 here, which is very constraining, because that would make this 9. This would be a 9, 8 pair. Oh, that would stop this being 9. If that was 8. Okay, so if 5 was here, that would be 9. Oh, well, that would immediately stop that being 9. Ah, 5 is in one of those positions. Yes, yes, yes. So 9 is in one of these two positions, and that is not 9. Right. Oh my goodness. So now this is the 9 in the central box. This is the 9 in the epistemophile ring. We've got a digit or two in the grid and an actual start on this puzzle. Oh, come on then. Right. Let's hope this gets something done. 6 there. So we're down to a 3, 4 pair. No, we've got a 7, 8 pair up there. That means this is a 6, 9 pair. That means this is a 9, 5 pair, and we know the order. Oh, yes. So this is not a 5. This is a 7, 8 pair, and we don't know the order. Ooh, what happened there? That is not a 9. That's a 7, 8 pair. We've used 6 there. So that's a 3, 4 pair as well. Let's just green those, and that. And that. Let's blue these other ones, because I'm keeping the colouring up to see what happens with it. Now, come on, that's not a 5. That is now part of a 3, 4 pair in the column, and we get 7 and 8 down here. Does that do anything? Gives us some colours. Oh, look, 9, 9. This is a 9. Unexpected. So that's not a 9, and that's quite, oh, stop it. That's quite big, because now 9 has to be here. Oh, it's not quite as big as I thought. That's probably 9, but probably is not what we need in this. Oh, okay, that's not as big as I thought. 1, 2 pair though. 9 there. 1, 2. Oh, what am I looking at? I don't know what I should be looking at. I'm losing my mind here. That, by the way, is 3, 4, or 5 because it sees a 1, 2 pair in the row. Ooh, which nearly helps with this, but doesn't quite. Okay, come on, come on. I'm sure I've made more progress than I realise. One of those two is a 6. We know that because it's not there. Therefore, one of these two is a 6. Therefore, one of these is a 3. We knew that before. 9, 7, 8. Is this 6, 3 with a 4 there and a 5 there? Which would make that a 3. That would make this 4, 5. I don't know. Is it? It must be now. We must be looking at this, I reckon. And I'm deliberately looking everywhere else apart from that to see where I've got something else going on, and I've got nothing. Right, let's look at this. This is, one of these two is a 9. If that was a 9, we would go 8, 8, 9. If it's not a 9, this is a 9. Then we get a 9 here. Would it have to be an 8? Can it be 7? 3, 4 there, 5 here, 1, 3 here. Oh, I think it can. Oh, what am I missing now? I'm feeling so much progress. Right. No. Yes, this can't be 6, 2, 1, of course. So it's either 2, 3, 4 or 1, 3, 5. What does that prove? It's always got a 3 in it. So there's a 3 in one of those cells and a 3 in one of those, and that doesn't prove anything. Now, how about this 3, 4, 5, 6 set? Is that... I don't know. If this was... Well, what's this? 9, 7, 8. If that's a 3, this is 5, 4, that's a 6. If that's a 4, that's 3, 6, that's a 5. So this is 5 or 6. Doesn't do much, does it? 9. If that's a 6, then we have a 7, 8. That could be 3, 4, or 5. But if it's a 5, we have a 3, 4. That could be 6, 7, or 8. That doesn't resolve this at all. Oh my goodness, come on. One of those is a 9, at least, maybe both. That would make this a 7 if they were both 9s. $28 diagonal, it just still doesn't look of any use. 20, that could be a 3, 5 pair if they were all max. Oh, come on. Keep thinking. Keep thinking. Don't give up here. Oh, look. 3, 4 pair. All right. Just keep looking. Don't scan. So that's a 5. So that's an 8. That's an 8. Right. This has got to be better. None of these can be an 8. Therefore, they are a 6, 7 pair in this row. So that's not 7. That's an 8, 9 pair. This can't be 5, so we've got a 3, 4 pair. That is 5 or 6. That can go green. Let's remove the pencil mark, corner mark rather. 3, 4, this is 7 or 8 in this, no, 6, 7 or 8 in this column. And it is blue, but that doesn't really get anything done. Again, now 8 or 9 on this diagonal. So on this this arrow, but still I don't think that has resolved its makeup at all. Ah, there is a 6 used here. So if there was a 6 used here, that would be 5. This would have to be without a 6. I can't see how to use that. Maybe I'm just missing something else, like I was with that 3, 4 pair. Come on. 8 there. This 6, 7. So if this was the 7, we'd have a 4 here. This would be 3, 6, 5, 8, 7. Or maybe it's... If this was 8, that would be 7. If this was 8, we'd have a 3, 5 here. We'd have a 4 here. That was 8. That would fix this. Then we'd get 9s in both of these positions. And a 9 there. And a 9 there. That would be all the 9s. But if this is 9, we get 9 there. Oh, okay, so we're losing the degree of freedom. Whether this is 8 or 9, we're losing the degree of freedom on the 34 diagonal in one of those two cells. If that's an 8, that becomes a 7 and we lose the degree. If that's a 9, that's an 8. So this is maximum. That is a 9. Oh, is that doing anything? These two add up to 16. Oh, well, they could be 8 and 8, and that's a 9, or they could be 7 and 9, and that's an 8, and that hasn't advanced anything. 9, one of those two is a 9. So we have a 7, or one of those two is an 8. Oh, maybe this, if it can't have an 8 on, 3, 11, 14, these can't be absolute minimum. That's getting a little more interesting now. 6, 15, 19, but they could still be maximum. But if they can't be minimum, what does that do? So I don't know. I don't think we're there yet. Sorry. If I am missing something, obviously I apologise. Right, there's a 7-8 pair there. And this can't be 9. I'm just looking at this arrow. That number, 6 or 7, has to appear in one of those two cells. If it's a 7, it would have to be there. Well, it means this is green, because whichever it is, it makes the 4th blue in the column. So that's green. I'm sure that is not going to help me, although it is a 3, 4, or 5, and it is on this diagonal. Six, 15, 19, 24, and a 4 there. So that would work. Minimum 3, 11, 14, 17. That's a long way from working, because 7 is the maximum here. Six. So, sorry. Let's just figure this out. 6, 15, 19, 28, 35 at a max. That's quite big. But the minimum, 3, 11, 14, 17, 20. Oh, there's much more freedom there than I thought. Okay, I'm misunderstanding this. It looked like I could go the distance. It looked like I could get something out of this, but maybe I was misunderstanding it. Right, let's have another think then. Those two add up to 9, don't they? Because those two add up to 9. So that must be right. So these two add up to 9. And those two add up to 9. That's 18, 27, 30. So these two add up to 15 by the old rule of 45. That's bizarre. Why have... Let me just check that. These two, yeah, let's do it over here. Those two add up to 9. So 45 is the sum of 1 to 9. So this box has got 24, 33, 36. Those two add up to 9. Ah, no, of course, I don't know what this is. Right, sorry, I thought I was suddenly getting that couldn't be a 6. Let's just think about if that is a 6. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for this to be a 6, because that would be a 5, but this would be a 5-4 pair. Bang. That is 7 or 8. Now we know in the column, this is where 6 goes. So 3 there, 7 here, 4 there. That's an 8. That's a 9. That's an 8. That's where the degree of freedom's gone. This... I still don't know if that's a 3-6 or a 4-5 pair. That's a 7. That's 8. That's 7. 9 and 6 have been resolved. 7 and 8 have been resolved. All the blue cells that I've got have been resolved. That is not 4-5 now. That's 3-6, so that's a 5. That's a 6. This is not 6-3. Can that be a 4-5 pair? Yeah, I suppose. Oh, it can't be a 3-6 pair because we've got the 2 6s. Right, let's just get the colouring going again because I can. Right, that it does not include a 6, so that is a 4-5 pair. And that has become a 3. Oh, Lord, I still don't know if that's 2-4 or a 1-5 pair. But this is 8-7. Right, they can go in and be coloured. 6 is in one of those cells. That's not helping. Oh, these 16 diagonals are all resolved, aren't they? 1. And that finally does all the 1-2s. Okay, nice. 1, 2 around the corner. It doesn't do the ones in the epistemophile ring, but it puts more digits in place. This is now a 5, 6, 7. 9 can't be there, so 9 is here. This is a 3-4 pair. That is where 7 goes. We've got a 5-6 pair. Just colour to take my mind off the numbers. Now, still don't know what they are. Down here, 7, 1, 2, 9, 8 is placed. That is not a 7. We've got 3, 4, 5, 6, and that not being a 7 is reminding me about this diagonal. 9, 12, maximum. Ooh, stop. Maximum 28. 5, 9 is 14, 17, 22, 28. Yes, that diagonal comes to the party, and that is going to fix everything. 4 there, 3, 4, 3, 4. That is going to fix everything. I insist. Yes, 4, 5. No 5s there. That can't be a 4. This can't be a 6. That can't be a 6, obviously. Right, 3, 4, 3, 6. This is now a 5, and that's not. 6 there. 3 or 4 here. So let's, I think this colouring is totally pointless at the moment, but I'm just going to carry on doing it because I can. Oh, that's where the 6 goes. That's green, so they're done. So I've just got these 1-2s left. 1, 2, 7 and 3 can be placed here. Those are the last cells to colour, so I can now stop colouring. Right, now that doesn't have a 4 in it now, so it's 3, 1, 5, and that will finally, I said stop colouring, go back to the number mode. 1, 5, that does all the 2 1s, does it? It does those in the rows, yes it does. 2, 1, 2, 1, 4, 3, what a puzzle. That is just extraordinary, isn't it? Isn't that amazing that that works in that way? What an extraordinary puzzle by Piotr. I mean, I think that might be Cygnus because it's doing so much work under the surface of that innocent looking ring of arrows. Unbelievable. I've enjoyed every second of 50 minutes near enough. What a puzzle by Piotr V. Thank you so much for sending it to us. And absolutely intriguing. Really enjoyed that. And hope to see you again soon on the channel. Bye for now.